Hello everybody, this is TheXseption, and welcome to my Week 3 team builder for the P4G. This week myself and the Tampa Luxrays will be taking on Knightor and the Montreal Explouds. So down below you'll see his team. He's got Volcanion, Goodra, Chestnut, Metagross, Gourgeist, Sandslash, Mega Gardevoir, Thundurus T, Exploud, Pangoro, and Venomoth. Now of those 11 Pokemon, I think he'll be bringing Volcanion, Goodra, Metagross, Mega Gardevoir, and Thundurus. I think that any of these Pokemon could come to the match, though. He seems to really like Pangoro and Venomoth a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those. Exploud hits my team pretty hard, so it could be there maybe to trap something and force me to sack something off. Although I do have a lot of options for taking it out, so it's not a huge threat. I think Sandslash could be there because I might want to set up rocks. He might want to get rid of any entry hazards I set. I do have a lot of hazard setters on my team, so that could be useful to him. Chestnut, again, could be useful. I do have options for it, so it's not a huge deal for me. But if he thinks it'll be useful versus me, I could see him bringing it. So yeah, that's his team. Now let's hop into what I am bringing this week. And the first Pokemon we've got this week is going to be Skarmory. So, unlike the last 2 weeks, my first Pokemon is not going to be my lead. It's just, it's an obvious Pokemon to bring to the match, I think. It's going to deal with a lot of his physical attackers. It's a good physical wall. So you're going to see it from week to week most likely. There will be a few weeks where I don't bring it, but Skarmory is going to be there a lot. We're running 244 HP, 252 defense, and 12 speed. So the 12 speed is so that we can outspeed Volcanion. Now, I don't expect to stay in on Volcanion, but maybe if Skarmory is on low health and it's going to go down anyway, and we want to get the rocks up one more time, we can go ahead and do that if we're on low health versus Volcanion. So that's what the 12 speed is for. And then the 244 HP and 252 defense is just so we can take defensive hits and survive as long as possible. I'm running leftovers this week instead of Rocky Helmet, just for some more longevity there. We got Whirlwind, Stealth Rock, Roost, and Defog. So we're running another week with no attacks. And I don't foresee myself doing this too often, but it just happens to work out this week because we need Skarmory there to be a wall. We need it to set up the rocks. We need it to defog, and so it doesn't really need to do anything else except for that, and I need it to do that well. So everything that Skarmory is right now is basically just to keep it on the field as long as possible and get it to set up rocks as much as possible or to defog as much as possible. So that is Skarmory there. Now, I could run Rocky Helmet, but again, the longevity thing, leftovers is nice for that. And I don't really need that extra chip damage if I'm able to get up the rocks so often, hopefully. So that's why we're not running Rocky Helmet. Now let's move on to our second Pokemon, which is going to be Sableye. So this is Sableye's first match that's coming to. We're running 252 HP. 40 defense, or 4 defense, I'm sorry, and 252 special defense. So, Sableye here has Prankster Will-O-Wisp, so we're going to be trying to burn all the physical attackers, which means we don't need that high of a defense. Basically, we just put the 4 in defense there because why not? It's not going to outspeed anything, so might as well put it in defense. The 252 HP and 252 special defense is there so that it can take as many special hits as possible because I assume that once he realizes our plan is to burn the physical attackers, he's going to start using special attackers against us. So might as well have an option for them as well. So we can take one hit from any special attacker on his team. I don't think we get one hit KO'd by anything except for a Hyper Voice from Mega Gardevoir. So we got to watch out for that. But we do have Taunt for Gourgeist if that comes. So we can basically shut it down right away. So it can't burn us back. It can't set up a sub. It can't Leech Seed. That kind of stuff. So Gourgeist hopefully won't be a problem because we got Sableye here. The Will-O-Wisp will shut down the physical attackers. We got Recover, of course, for longevity. Running Rocky Helmet this week because I don't have Rocky Helmet on Skarmory. And I don't really need the extra longevity from leftovers with Sableye this week, I don't think, especially since we have Recover and we get Prankster Recover. Well, we got Knockoff for Metagross, basically, or for any other items. Now, I don't really want to use it on Metagross, but it will do a lot of damage if I need to. Basically, Knockoff is there so that we can just knock off items whenever possible. If we have an option, maybe we have enough health to where we can take a special hit. I'll hit Knockoff. We can get it to lose its item or whatever. This would be especially useful if we get rid of like a Choice Scarf from Thundurus or from any other Choice Scarf users on his team. But specifically Thundurus because Scarf Thundurus gives me some problems. down the road there. But that is going to be Sableye, and that's what Sableye is going to be doing this match. So let's move on to our third Pokemon, which is going to be Blaziken. So this is the third week that I have brought Blaziken, and Blaziken will continue to come to the matches pretty regularly. Now, like I said at the beginning of the season, I don't want to be too predictable with what I'm bringing every week, but there are some Mons that you will see more often than not, just because, you know, they're the higher tier Mons. They're usually pretty good. Blaziken actually happens to be a tier 4 Mon, so it's not a high tier Mon, but it is very useful, and it's very powerful. Now, we're running Flamethrower, Stone Edge, Poison Jab, and Superpower this week. We got the Choice Scarf on it. We're running 212 attack, 104 special attack, 92 special defense, and 100 speed. So with the Choice Scarf and 100 speed, we outspeed his entire team except for a Choice Scarf Thunderous. And that is something we need to scout for because of something down the line. But what we can do is we can one-hit KO Gardevoir with the Poison Jab after Rocks. It's a guaranteed after Rocks. Before Rocks, it's shaky. It's a roll, you know. We can Stone Edge to kill Thunderous. So if he happens to run like a Life Orb Thunderous, we outright kill Thunderous with the Stone Edge. Superpower will do about 70 to 80% to Goodra. It also hits Exploud really hard. It'll also kill Pangoro. So that's what that's for. And then we're running Flamethrower. So in the case that he wants to run some defensive Mons, expecting Blaziken, we're running Flamethrower for Gourgeist, for Metagross in that case, because it will one-hit KO Metagross, or at least it's a roll to one-hit KO Metagross. After Rocks, it's a little bit less of a roll. Still something to worry about, though. With Gourgeist, we straight up knock it out, I believe. And we also do a whole bunch to Chestnut. So we do about 80 to 90% on Chestnut with Flamethrower. So that is Blaziken. Now, this is a mixed set, so, you know, it's going to be a little weird, I think. We'll see how that works. If he's running special defense, like I know he ran AV Metagross in week 1. If he does that again, that could be a problem for Blaziken, so I'll have to watch out for that and try to gauge how Metagross takes some special hits before I can go in and just hit Flamethrower or whatever, because I don't want Blaziken to get in there and then hit Flamethrower and then, you know, get knocked out by a Zen Headbutt or something. So I gotta watch out for that. I gotta kind of scout for all his sets here. So like Thunderous, I got to scout for the Choice Scarf. On Metagross, I have to scout for if it's defensive or special defensive. And on Gardevoir, I have to scout to see how much special attack it has compared to maybe how much special defense or defense it'll have. So I have to keep an eye on these things and watch out for that during the match. So maybe if a hit doesn't hit as hard as I expected it to, then I know it's running, you know, a defensive set. And if it hits harder than I thought, then maybe he's running a little bit more in special attack. So I just kind of got to watch out for that kind of stuff during the match, and hopefully not make any mistakes and let Blaziken go down here, because that could be a big issue. Blaziken's not going to be like a sweeper this week. It does have a Choice Scarf, so that does kind of limit its sweeping ability, but it will be coming in to maybe, you know, take out a Mon here and there. It'll be like it was last week, where we just bring it in on 1 or 2 things and just try to take out those 1 or 2 things. Not like in the first week where I wanted to sweep with it. So another week where Blaziken isn't exactly a sweeper, but it's there to be very offensive and there to knock out a couple Mons. So let's move on to the next Pokemon we got, which is going to be Florges. So I franchise tagged Florges and I haven't brought it to a match yet, but that is changing this week. Florges is actually one of my favorite fairy types, to be honest. I really love Florges, and it's really awesome. I just haven't had a chance to use it. Honestly, the fairy typing is really good in Pokemon, of course. So having a fairy on your team is very important, you know, but I can't bring it every week because there are still threats. You know, steel and poison types, they're still on pretty much every team because everybody has to watch out for the fairies. So I have to be careful, and I have to know when to bring Florges and when not to bring it. This happens to be a week where I feel like I can bring Florges because it can actually take a Sludge Bomb. I'm running Synthesis so I can heal up. So Goodra doesn't really pose a problem to Florges, whereas if I was facing maybe like a Toxicroak or like a physical steel type or a physical poison type, you know, I would have to be wary of those attacks because Florges cannot take a physical attack at all. So I got to watch out for these things. But Florges actually does very well in this match. I can switch in on Goodra, I can switch in on Thunderous, I can even switch in on Sandslash. So Sandslash doesn't 2-hit KO me with Earthquake. So Florges actually is going to do pretty okay this match. I can also switch in on Mega Gardevoir except for the Psyshock. So the Psyshock will do a whole bunch of damage to Florges here, so I gotta watch out for that. Hope it doesn't have Psyshock, because honestly, if it has Psyshock, I have no switch-ins for Mega Gardevoir, and I'm just going to have to play it by ear. But I hope that doesn't happen. I hope I can knock it out and deal with it right off the bat. That'd be pretty great. But we're running Moonblast, Synthesis, Energy Ball, and Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy to heal off any burns, any paralysis, any freezes, because I know he's run the Elemental Punches on Metagross before. And with the Thundurus, you're bound to get paralyzed at least once in the match. With Goodra, you're bound to get poisoned. So having aromatherapy is going to be very useful in this match, I think. Hopefully I don't have to use it too much, but it is there just in case. We're running 252 HP, 108 special attack, and 148 speed. No, special defense. So just very special defensive, and we're running such a high special attack because we can actually 2-hit KO Thundurus, and we can 1-hit KO after rocks Chestnut, and Energy Ball will 2-hit KO Sandslash. It'll 3-hit KO Volcanion. Volcanion, though, is kind of weird because it takes more damage from Grass Knot, but Sandslash takes a lot less damage from Grass Knot. So we're running Energy Ball, which does about 5% less damage to Volcanion than Grass Knot does, but because Energy Ball does more to Sandslash, we're running Energy Ball instead. And we actually do a whole bunch of damage to Metagross if it's not running special defense. We do about 25 to 30% there. So a lot of damage to Metagross even with Moonblast. So that's going to be very useful. Hopefully Florges has a good debut along with Sableye, and you'll see it a few more times throughout the season. It might not be an every week mon, because it is kind of situational. I did want to pair it with Skarmory a bit more, but it just depends on the matchups. If I see a wave to fit it in there, I will. But sometimes, other mons are better, and of course I'm going to bring those instead. So that's Florges, and hopefully it can do a lot this week. All right, so our next Pokemon is going to be Rotom. So Rotom is another Pokemon you've seen every week from me. And you probably won't see it every week. It is a very good Pokemon, and I will bring it quite often. But just like Skarmory, there will be a couple weeks where I don't bring it. There's probably a couple weeks for everything where I won't bring something. Either, Mega Pinsir, Blaziken, Rotom, Skarmory. Those four are like the big four for me. And there will be a few weeks where I don't bring one of those or two of those or whatever. I got to switch it up every once in a while. I don't want people getting too comfortable thinking they can expect those every week. But we're running Life Orb this week with Thunderbolt, Light Screen, Hydro Pump, and Volt Switch. 252 special attack, 28 special defense, and 228 speed. So 228 speed allows us to outspeed Metagross. It allows us to outspeed Sandslash and Goodra. We also outspeed Volcanion, I believe. So Thunderbolt with a Life Orb and with this much special attack allows us to one-hit KO Volcanion right away. So we were going to run a Choice Specs. Choice Specs would have done a lot more damage. But in the case that we hit Hydro Pump on something and he switched into Volcanion, we wouldn't be able to hit Thunderbolt. We'd have to switch out and then switch back in, and he would know we were running a choice item or something. And, it just gives him a whole bunch more opportunities to do damage to me. So Life Orb is very important. That way, Rotom is more of a counter to Volcanion than, Volcanion being a counter to us. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping it is. We got Hydro Pump for basically everything that is not Volcanion. Everything that's not Volcanion takes Hydro Pump not very well. It's a 2-hit KO for most things. 3-hit KO for Chestnut, probably for Gourgeist as well. But Thunderbolt will hit Volcanion pretty hard. And whatnot. We got Light Screen on here. I was thinking about running Will-O-Wisp, but Light Screen is actually going to be very important for our last Pokemon coming up, which is going to be Pinsir. So Pinsir is back, of course. Whoa, hey, come back. There we go. Now, the reason for the Light Screen is that Pinsir cannot take a special attack at all. In this match, really in any match, it does not take special attacks very well at all. And people are going to be running HP Fire, HP Ice, HP Electric, whatever, So I got to watch out for these things because it can be very dangerous. And so that's basically what the Light Screen is for on Rotom, just to make sure Pinsir doesn't go down too fast. But anyways, we're bringing Pinsir. We got 4 HP, 252 attack, 20 defense, 4 special defense, and 228 speed. So I was telling my AC that I feel like we're kind of just making up these EV sets now. We're just kind of playing around, just screwing around, just seeing what the craziest EV set we can get is. But this is what we're at. But the 228 speed basically allows us to outspeed everything on his team that is not a Scarfed Thundurus. So, or Scarf anything, I guess. But Scarf Thundurus is really the most common Scarf user on his team, I believe. So, Scarf Thundurus would not surprise me. But we got Return, Quick Attack, Knockoff, and Swords Dance. So, we got Knockoff for the Metagross. Now, this is the reason why we didn't want to use Knockoff on Metagross before with Sableye. And the reason is that a +2 Knockoff will kill Metagross. If we get rid of the item, though, before Pinsir's able to use Knockoff on Metagross, then I do not believe Knockoff is going to kill Metagross, which could be a huge issue because Metagross just does a lot of damage, and I don't want it getting off any extra damage on my team at all. So, got to watch out for that. Hopefully, I can play it right. And hopefully I can get like Metagross burned or something. That would be the most optimal thing, and leave its item there so that I can go ahead and knock it off with Pinsir here. Return basically for everything. Return 2-hit KOs everything on his team except for Sandslash, and it's just because it's a roll. So I believe it's like a 95 to 116% chance to 2-hit KO at +2. So we do pretty good on the roll there. I'm not worried about it. You know, after some rocks, maybe we do some chip damage on Sandslash. It's not a huge problem. Everything else gets 2-hit or gets 1-hit KO'd by Return after we go to +2, and at 0 we still 2-hit KO everything. So don't have to worry about that too much. Quick Attack is there for maybe something's on low health. We need to come in, just get rid of it. There's been a few times where I should have come in and used Quick Attack. I know last week versus Joe, rewatching the battle, I realized I made a huge mistake sending in Blaziken versus Gengar. I should have sent in Pinsir just to go for the Quick Attack and kill it. I watched Joe's video. He called me out on that, and I should have done that. But, you know, when you're in a match, you don't always see what's right in front of you. So I just got to watch out for those opportunities, but that's what Quick Attack's there for. So the plan is to go +2 and basically sweep with Pinsir. So Pinsir is going to be the sweeper this week, and that's pretty much what it is every week. But this week we have another special opportunity, because if he does not bring Thundurus, or if he does not Scarf Thundurus or something, and he leads with Metagross, or I can come in on Metagross or another physical attacker that isn't Sandslash. Sandslash 1-hit KOs me, so that's why I can't come in on that. But if I can come in on anything else that is a physical attacker for free, not get hit, you know, maybe one of my mons goes down, or maybe I just lead with Pinsir, I can get a sweep going from the start. So the only thing that can stop my sweep is Pokemon being faster than me, and the only thing that can be faster than me on his team is a Scarf user, and the most common Scarf user is Thunder. So if he doesn't bring Thundurus, we are in the clear to sweep from the beginning. All I have to do is lead off with Pinsir. If he leads off with Chestnut, with Metagross, with Pangoro, even with Venomoth, maybe Gourgeist. So there's a few options. If he leads with any of those, I think I can just hit Swords Dance on Pinsir, and then I win the match. Because he has nothing that can outspeed me, nothing that can kill me with priority. So even Metagross with Bullet Punch is not going to kill me. It does, like, you know, let me look at how much damage it does real quick for you guys. It will do 21 to 25%. That's how much a Bullet Punch does to me. So he has no options. If he brings out Metagross on me, if he leads with it and I lead with Pinsir and he doesn't have Thundurus, then I can sweep from turn 1. Turn 2, because I got to hit Swords Dance, but you get what I'm saying. So we have a huge opportunity here with Pinsir, and hopefully Pinsir gets that opening. Pinsir has, it's in the lead. It's not in the lead, but it's up there for MVP, I believe. It has 5 kills so far in 2 weeks. It has 1 death, and it has 1 games won. So Pinsir's doing really well. I want to keep that streak going. I want to get as many kills for Pinsir as possible. If I can get a 6-0 sweep, that would be insane. I honestly don't think that's going to happen. It's a miracle to 6-0 somebody. Honestly, it's like one of the hardest things you can do, because there's always something, you know, that can go wrong and one of your Pokemon goes down, just to any little thing, you know, maybe a crit, maybe a burn. It just happens. So I don't really expect the 6-0, but if we get it, and I see that we can get it, then I'm going to go for it. And hopefully Pinsir can rack up some more kills and get up there on that MVP list. I'd love to get it another games won. I'd love to get it up there as much as possible. But anyways, that is the team, and hope you guys enjoyed the team builder. Hope you guys will watch the battle. It's going up tomorrow, Sunday. Yeah, hope you guys are there to watch it and support the Luxrays this season. Anyways, peace out, guys, and I will see you then.